The Caribbean may sometimes be seen as small and insignificant, especially when it comes to engaging with others on the world stage. But this is far from the case. The Caribbean is often said to be punching above its weight, and this is due to the leadership and influence many Caribbean political leaders wield, not only within the region or the sovereign nations, but also on the world stage. We are facing the greatest test of global solidarity in generations, dealing not only with a global pandemic not seen in over 100 years, but also with global warming that's changing our climate, and a war that has created unrest and global food insecurities on our planet, a fate that calls for great Caribbean leadership. Caribbean leaders spread their influence not only with other political leaders, but also in a range of other fields ranging from energy and business to entertainment. They serve as a loud voice for the region and have become role models in their own right, championing the causes of small island nations around the world. We know that influence can be subjective, so be sure to tell us in the comments if you agree with our list. Which leaders do you think we have missed and why? And which Caribbean leader are you most impressed with and why? So with that in mind, here is our top 5 countdown to the most influential political leaders in the Caribbean today. Number 5. Guyana's Prime Minister, Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali. Prime Minister Mohamed Irfaan Ali's inclusion on this list stems from the recent and continued discovery of oil in the country of Guyana. This discovery has instantly positioned the country as potentially one of the largest energy producers in the world, and as an alternative to other less favorable sources. As a result, it is no wonder why world leaders such as former and current U.S. Secretary of States Mike Pompeo and Anthony Blinken have visited the country in recent years. Prime Minister Ali has also connected with Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro to broaden energy cooperation and has made deals with ExxonMobil, positioning the country as a key source for Exxon's future production, with 31 oil discoveries in its giant Stabroek block so far. Whether the influence Prime Minister Ali has gathered will remain as time goes on is anyone's guess, but his position right now earns him a place on our list. Number 4. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Everard Gonsalves. Prime Minister Gonsalves has become a recognizable figure both within and outside of the Caribbean during his tenure as the longest continuously serving head of government since St. Vincent and the Grenadines became independent in 1979. This experienced leader has long been a champion for bringing awareness to climate change and the effects it can have on small island nations such as his. He continues to champion the cause of reparations and has pushed for more Caribbean nations to become republics in light of the moves made by Barbados in 2021. Prime Minister Gonsalves also frequently reaches out to Caribbean leaders to rally around a range of causes, like his recent letter which called on other Caribbean nations to boycott the summit over the exclusion of Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. For his leadership and impact on the region, Prime Minister Gonsalves was recently awarded the Order of Jose Marti at the ALBA Summit in Cuba. He also maintains close relations with many world leaders, including senior officials in the USA, Cuba, and the UK. Dr. Gonsalves even remarked that his blazer was made by the tailors of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, which was said during a state visit to the island by India's president. Number 3. Cuba's President, Miguel Díaz-Canel. Number 3 on our list is the leader of one of the only socialist countries in the world. President Díaz-Canel took over leadership of the socialist state after his predecessor Raúl Castro stepped down as leader in 2019. President Díaz-Canel developed a reputation as an even-handed public servant with a different political outlook from his predecessor. An often repeated anecdote describes President Díaz-Canel's long-standing support for a local LGBTQ nightclub, as well as his respect for the people to go door to door and apologize to Cubans for an electrical blackout back in 2015. On the international scene, the president continues to be a voice for allies such as Venezuela and Nicaragua. he frequently criticizes the US's continued embargo placed on his country and regularly garners support from every country in the world for its removal, excluding the US and Israel. President Díaz-Canel also projects his influence through the country's highly educated population, with the country having one of the highest numbers of medical professionals in the world per capita. This has enabled the projection of influence through these qualified professionals when they are sent all around the world on humanitarian missions. Number 2. Jamaica's Prime Minister, Andrew Michael Holness. Jamaica has always been and continues to be a leader in the Caribbean. When the current Prime Minister Andrew Holness was first elected at the age of 39, Holness was Jamaica's youngest Prime Minister, and even at 43, he still remains the youngest Prime Minister to date and the first to be born after Jamaica's independence in 1962. Prime Minister Holness has championed the cause of climate change and has pushed unity both in and out of the Caribbean. Prime Minister Holness continues to be a voice for the Caribbean on the international stage and has regular discussions with world leaders such as Prime Minister of Britain, Boris Johnson, President of India, Ram Nath Kovind, and has hosted the former President of the US, Barack Obama, in 2015. Further to his influence and leadership, in March 2022, during the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's visit to Jamaica as part of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Tour, Holness told the couple that his nation was moving on and intend to, in short order, to fulfill ambitions of being an independent, developed, prosperous country, indicating Jamaica's desire to become a republic following the footsteps of its Caribbean neighbor, Barbados. Number 1. The Prime Minister of Barbados, Amor Mottley. There are some who stand tall and stand out no matter where they are from. Whether a large, densely populated country or a small island nation, Prime Minister of Barbados, Amor Mottley, is one such person. From poverty to debt to climate change, she is a vocal advocate on the world stage for responsible stewardship of our planet, so that nations large and small and people rich and poor can survive and thrive together. At COP26 in Glasgow late last year, she chided the world's leaders for not working more diligently to limit the potentially catastrophic impacts of climate change, telling them to try harder.
When will we, as world leaders across the world, address the pressing issues that are truly causing our people angst and worry, whether it is climate or whether it is vaccines? Simply put, when will leaders lead? Our people are watching, and our people are taking note. And are we really going to leave Scotland without the resolve and the ambition that is sorely needed to save lives and to save our planet? How many more voices and how many more pictures of people must we see on these screens without being able to move? Or are we so blinded and hardened that we can no longer appreciate the cries of humanity? I have been saying to Barbadians for many years that many hands make light work. Today, we need the correct mix of voices, ambition, and action. Do some leaders in this world believe that they can survive and thrive on their own? Have they not learned from the pandemic? Can there be peace and prosperity if 1/3 of the world literally prospers and the other 2/3 of the world live under siege and face calamitous threats to our well-being? What the world needs now, my friends, is that which is within the ambit of less than 200 persons who are willing and prepared to lead. Leaders must not fail those who elect them to lead.
While chair of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund's Development Committee, she reminded the world's finance gurus that the level of a country's per capita income may not always be the best measure of its wealth. After all, one climate change-induced hurricane can take a significant toll on that wealth. For this, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, described her as bold, fearless, and possessing great intellect and wit. Vice President of the US, Kamala Harris, has also remarked on Prime Minister Mottley's leadership and impact on the cause of developing nations, and superstar Rihanna shares a close relationship with the political leader. Prime Minister Mottley also led her island, Barbados, to a republic in 2021, completely severing political ties to the United Kingdom and replacing the head of state with a Barbadian-born national. It is no wonder that the #1 most influential person on our list was also named among Time magazine's 100 most influential people of 2022. According to Times magazine, since Mottley was a young woman growing up in the Caribbean, she has always cared deeply about critical issues impacting the world. Having won re-election by a landslide, Mia Mottley is an icon in her country of Barbados and has bold strides on the world stage. She is an embodiment of our conscience, reminding us all to treat our planet and therefore one another with love, dignity, and care. Today we need leaders that inspire us, leaders who are visionaries, and strategic thinkers who are transparent, bold, and accountable. Leaders that are working tirelessly to preserve the harmony of the Caribbean while elevating our civilization to exalted heights as we envision a better Caribbean and commit to a life of active citizenry. We need visionary leaders who can revolutionize industries, focus relentlessly on problem solving, be adaptable to the changing global economic tides, and can reimagine our way of life through innovation. It takes all of us to create a better Caribbean and a better world. If you find the information in this video useful, we would appreciate it if you would give this video a like. Please also share our channel, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our next video as we explore the Caribbean's rich cultures together. This is Gyra Caribbean. See you in the next video.